Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Crews have spent the day in Texas and Louisiana assessing the damage after Hurricane Laura. I'm Chris Malone in Lafayette, Louisiana. I'll have that story coming up.
Detroit police targeted in a drive-by shooting, and now a 14-year-old girl is in custody.
And new information in a fight between neighbors that ended with 3 people dead and a 4th person seriously hurt. All coming up, but we're going to begin with breaking news on the Detroit Tigers. Reports the Minnesota Twins have voted to postpone tonight's game with the Tigers as part of the social justice protests.
Let's get right out to Bernie with the very latest. Bern.
All right, kids. Well, if you were planning to watch the Twins play the Tigers tonight at Comerica on TV, of course, you'll have to find something else to do. The Twins voted this afternoon to boycott the game to show their displeasure with social injustice. Nico Goodrum of the Tigers says change is a must.
You know, things have to change in this world, man, and things have to stop. You know, it's right and wrong, and what's going on is wrong. So if guys choose to sit out, and that's how they want to, send their message, then I'm all for it. I didn't choose to do that, but I do recognize that things have to change.
However, a vote was taken in the Tigers clubhouse, and Jason Beck of MLB.com reports the Tigers have also voted and decided to boycott tonight. The NHL has also spoken up about it, and they have decided to cancel their playoff games tonight. Much more on all of it coming up later in sports. Kids, back to you.
Yeah, all right, Bernie. In fact, coming up later in this newscast, more on the police shooting in Kenosha and the arrest of a teenager in a deadly shooting at a protest there. Also, a local leader trying to put an end to it. All right, now the top story at 5, the fight between neighbors that turned deadly. Deputies say 4 men were sitting on the porch of the accused in the case when he came out and opened fire.
This happened last night at the Spring Lake Village apartments near Auburn and Updike in Pontiac. Rob Maloney spoke to one victim's older sister who says this is like a bad dream.
It was just after 9 o'clock last night. The 911 call came in, some sort of neighborhood dispute. It happened at the house right behind me here with the red balloons. The gunfire rang out after 4 people who were talking in front had a confrontation with a woman who lived next door, and that's when the gunfire erupted. The 200 block of Carriage Circle Drive at the Spring Lake Village apartments, a chaotic scene. The victims running for cover. 1 died on the ground outside. 2 others found inside. They were rushed to the hospital and they died there. A 4th victim in his 20s. He remains in serious condition in the hospital.
It's hard. It's extremely hard. Mary
Lanehart lives just up the street, and she told us her brother Kendrick died in this hail of gunfire. She said he was just on his way to pick up some dinner. Wrong place, wrong time.
It's not easy right now. This is something, we've never had this in my family. We've never experienced this. This is hard. And I don't wish this pain on anybody. Anybody.
The 4 victims reportedly were on the neighbor's porch, and when a woman inside complained, a verbal altercation led her to ask her boyfriend to intercede. Sheriff Mike Bouchard says, though, this dispute dates back years.
Years ago, and some of the individuals, again, were at another shooting earlier a few weeks ago. And so, again, some of this stuff goes back and forth, in these physical disputes. And it escalates to the point where ultimately someone got killed in this situation.
It doesn't surprise me that it happened here. It's always something here.
Now, she says she's thinking about moving out of town even though she has family here. In the meantime, her brother, Kendrick, 39 years old, she said was a very friendly man, which is what led him to stop and talk to these gentlemen in the first place. And the other 2 victims, both dead, were in their 20s. Back to you.
Rod, what do we know about the alleged shooter?
Well, he turned himself in last night at the sheriff's office substation at the Pontiac City Hall. He had been talked into that. He told officers where to find the gun. That was at another address, and so they went and found that. And it's looking like he'll be arraigned either tomorrow or the next day.
All right. Thank you, Rod. The FBI is now offering a $10,000 reward to find who killed 2 parents and hurt 3 children in southwest Detroit. This happened on the morning of July 4th on Homer Street near Lawndale. Police say the family pulled over to let some cars pass, and then someone in one of those cars started shooting. 39-year-old Maria Gonzalez and 40-year-old Francisco Gonzalez died from their injuries. They leave behind 3 boys, ages 9, 12, and 15, who survived. family members want justice.
Nobody is an animal. Nobody wants revenge. No one wants anything. We just want closure. I know everyone knows that those people don't deserve to be out on the streets, not a day longer. So whatever information that could come together, whatever that could help, anything at this point is good help.
They really need help on this case. Take a look right there. Today, DPD released this video of the car they're looking for. It's a Ford Escape.
They were looking for officers to shoot. That's what DPD says about a group taken into custody this morning for firing at police. DPD says its officers were targeted by 2 men and a 14-year-old girl overnight at McNichols and Telegraph on the west side. Jason Colthorpe live right now at DPD headquarters with the newest reaction on this case from police. Jason.
And Devin, first of all, it's not easy being a Detroit cop anyway. We know that. And last night, officers were already dealing with a dicey traffic stop. Weapons were found. They were detaining 2 suspects. And then the next thing they know, 4 officers are under fire. What had happened is about 3:30 in the morning. It's at the hotel there. They're in the parking lot. A Kia Sorento drives by. Shots start being fired at these 4 officers. It wheels around, goes back the other way. More shots are fired, as officers would say they weren't hit, they were fine. None of the suspects were hit. In fact, nothing was hit, not even the hotel. So fast forward about an hour and a half. They get a tip where they find this Kia Sorento. A short police chase ensues. It ends with the Sorento crashing, rolling over. 2 suspects are trapped inside. They're taken into custody to the hospital, actually. Another one runs away. They are also caught. And police say, all right, first and foremost, they're glad their guys are okay. That's number one. But 2, if this is somehow in response to the violence in Kenosha, Wisconsin, what happened with officers shooting a man there, they're saying this response is not the right way to go about it.
There are many, many better ways to have your voice heard aside from shooting at the police. And so regardless of how somebody feels about what's going on around the country right now, there are peaceful ways to protest. We encourage peaceful protesting. There are avenues for people to lobby for change in policy and in government. Taking it to the street with guns is not the appropriate response.
And again, most importantly, no injuries in that shooting. And as you mentioned in the lead, Devin, police say that someone approached them later, or at least tipped them off, saying that this same Kia Sorento had stopped, pulled up alongside their vehicle and said, have you seen any officers? We're looking to fire on cops. And that's how this came to be. In custody, by the way, a 19 and 20-year-old man, each 2 men, 19 and 20 years old, and a 14-year-old girl. 2 of them are still in the hospital. We'll have to wait and see how the charges shake out going forward. We're live at DPD headquarters. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Okay, sorry, Jason.
One of the strongest hurricanes to ever hit the U.S. made landfall on the Gulf Coast overnight. Hurricane Laura brought 150-mile-an-hour winds and a storm surge being called unsurvivable.
Dire situation, so dire that people who did not leave the area were told to write their name, address, and social security number on a piece of paper and put it in a Ziploc bag to keep in their pocket at all times. Wow. Chris Pallone is in Lafayette with the aftermath. Chris.
Hi there, Devin and Karen. At least 4 people are confirmed dead. 800,000 are without power, and thousands of homes and businesses across Texas and Louisiana are damaged or destroyed. But still, the governors of those states say in some ways it could have been worse. Daylight and a first look at the destruction left in Hurricane Laura's wake. In Lake Charles, Louisiana, some 30 miles from the coast, roofs left in shambles, trees ripped from their roots, and neighborhoods underwater.
I'm just glad that we are all alive. That's it.
Power lines flung across roadways, a local TV station's tower in a crumpled heap on the ground. Roads flooded in Lafourche Parish. In Westlake, near Lake Charles, a massive inferno at BioLab, a chemical plant that makes chlorine products just after the storm blew through, sending plumes of smoke into the air. In the storm's path, it's a mess of mangled metal, splintered wood, and debris.
We have thousands and thousands of our fellow citizens whose lives are upside down because their businesses and/or their homes have been damaged.
After Hurricane Laura roared ashore overnight. a powerful Category 4 storm packing winds of 150 miles per hour, lashing Louisiana and southeast Texas for hours.
Windows broke out, walls came in.
There's a roar like I've never heard before.
The governor of Texas touring the state's hardest hit areas, but says overall the state dodged a bullet.
Now, that of course doesn't help those whose homes have been hit, those whose businesses have been hit. And for those people, we want them to know that we are already working on the process of helping them rebuild.
That rebuilding just beginning across much of the battered region. More than 800,000 people have lost power, and that number is expected to grow as the storm moves inland. President Donald Trump said he will likely visit the storm-damaged parts of the Gulf Coast over the weekend. In Lafayette, Louisiana, I'm Chris Pallone, Local 4.
All right, Chris, so Ben has been tracking the hurricane, but our own storm's here.
Yeah, Ben, Laura hit as a Category 4, but has weakened.
Yeah, it's no longer a hurricane, just a tropical storm, and tough to even see an eye in this thing right now. Still a decent amount of rain as it moves through parts of Arkansas. 5 o'clock advisory has sustained winds now at 50 miles per hour, and it's making a hard right turn of the boot heel and should stay south of the Ohio River. Saturday at 2 o'clock, that's the position. We may see some moisture contribute to our storm chances Friday night into Saturday, but the core of that is going to stay well to our south. Sustained winds, at least the ones that got measured, up to 101 in Cameron, Louisiana, but those gusts as high as 132 at the Lake Charles Airport. Keep in mind that the actual radar site got destroyed at Lake Charles, and we probably would have gotten estimates otherwise that were even higher. Severe risk remains slight today and tomorrow, though those thunderstorm chances get a lot better as we get into tomorrow afternoon. Possibility of even stronger stuff tomorrow, and we'll discuss that in a few minutes, guys.
All right, thank you, Ben. Now to today's coronavirus numbers, with Michigan just 42 cases away from reaching 100,000 cases total. Today, the state added another 758 cases. There were 16 more deaths, but 15 of them were identified in a review of records. Another domino falls in the ongoing UAW corruption scandal.
Big one, too. Federal prosecutors have charged former UAW President Dennis Williams with conspiracy to embezzle funds. Williams allegedly worked with other UAW officials in sending hundreds of thousands in union money, or spending it rather, on personal items, things like private villas, golf, liquor. Williams is the 15th person and the second UAW president charged in the investigation. A lot more to come here at 5 o'clock.
Here's Alice.
President Trump set to accept his party's nomination in the final night of the Republican National Convention. I'm Alice Barr from the White House. Coming up, what to expect tonight and how the competing crises of the day may influence tonight's program.
All right, Alice, also why a deadly fire at a downriver home may lead to an appliance recall.
But first, a school district in Oakland County just found out it won't have enough devices to hand out to students. How the district is adapting and what it means for students and teachers.